What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of review for Kaiju number 8, season 2. Yeah, episode 8. And with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Yeah. I'm really starting to feel like Kafka is going to take the back seat for the remainder of the season. I could be wrong, but
Yeah,
that's that's the general direction I think that we're going for the remainder of the season um because we know like everybody else outside of Kafka is going to be, train their asses off just to, you know, get on with the upcoming final showdown with number 9, but obviously, like that, it's not going to happen this season. It's very likely going to happen by season 3, hopefully to wrap things up with that storyline. But with things going on, it's very clear that we're mainly going to be focused on a lot of the side characters outside of Kafka.
yeah, because this episode is this episode and some of the last episode has been more focused on Reno. But I like that because Reno hasn't really gotten much focus at all up until this point. So I like that at least we're finally getting more about on him. And also it's also some of the side characters as well that haven't really we haven't really gotten any development with them. So I kind of like that it's doing that. Not all of the focus is on Kafka.
And we also get another more focus on Reno's teammate, Furuha. I'm trying to
Furuhashi.
remember it. Furuhashi, yeah, okay. We of course learned that he was a student on top of his class, and he was eager to join the defense force to stand side by side with the elites like Ashiro and Hoshina. But he the longer that he's there, he feels like he's not at the level of where he needs to be. And considering that Reno has been chosen to take part in this experimental project to wear the number 6 suit, there are times where he feels like he has an inferiority complex to Reno.
Yeah, like in a way, I guess he's kind of jealous of Reno and the others because they've like surpassed him, and I guess he's used to being like top of his class, and now that he's joined the Kaiju Defense Force, he realizes he's like not the best of the best. Like there are people that are better than him.
So much of this episode is mainly focused on Reno, trying to get used to the number 6 suit, and we can see like how much more powerful he is. Just by like he can like literally freeze a kaiju just by touching it, and then like
Yeah,
he can like literally he can kill like a certain like the smaller versions of the kaiju that they're currently fighting just by shooting just a few shots at it at his abdomen. But of course, like things start taking a toll on Reno's body the longer he's wearing the suit, and it gets bad to the point where his I think it was his one of his legs gets twisted, like when he pushes it, pushes the use of that suit even further.
yeah, they're like doing some kind of exercise where they're all going up against this kaiju, and I guess as a way of testing the kaiju number 6 suit and Reno's compatibility with it. They have him going up against this kaiju, and he basically just keeps pushing himself beyond his limits in order to fight this kaiju. And as a result, the suit just he just gets even more messed up. You see like his eyes start to bleed. And like you said, yeah, eventually he ends up like breaking his leg or like twisting it. So now he's in a vulnerable position. And the other thing I was surprised by, like the episode starts off and I thought there would be like a lot more, I guess, build up to him wearing and using the Kaiju number 6 suit after like what happened at the last episode where he was like going through he was in so much pain just trying to I guess fuse with Kaiju number 6's power, and we see like what happens like after that in this episode where he's like taken onto a stretcher, and I mean it looked pretty bad, but but then the next scene like he's wearing the suit, so I guess that must mean that he is actually compatible with it. But yeah, like we see that he's still like trying to go like beyond his I guess beyond his limits, trying to like push himself like way too far with the power. Like he's not used to it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, despite um, Furuhashi's like, I guess he's trying. I guess in a way he already overcomes his inferiority complex and decides like he needs to help Reno as much as he can to get to get used to the suit because
Yeah.
once like what was it, the captain of their division that they're in decides that if things get really bad for Reno, then they have to step in and take care of the kaiju's themselves. But yeah, but Furuhashi decides to help out Reno, like I at least in a way, uh, push push through his limits and like get used to the suit a little bit more often. So that's I guess that's where the episode ends off from there. It just went by really quickly, to be honest. Like
Yeah,
I get
like
like
the
these.
whole episode was just Reno not real like just going way too far with the kaiju suit, and then like you said, yeah, Furuhashi actually like having to help out. But I did like that we got some more about Furuhashi's character because we don't really get much of that in season one. So I like that they gave him some amount of development. Uh, and I don't know, maybe they'll do that with some of the other side characters that we've that aren't really like I guess that we didn't really think were that important. Um, or even Reno. Like, I mean, I would just like to see more of the other side characters, because I feel like you said, yeah, like Kafka might be taking a backseat for maybe the rest of the season, and there'll be like, maybe some more of the side characters will, uh, kind of take center stage, I guess.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot more backstory with a lot of the other side characters outside of Kafka. I mean, we learned a little bit more about uh, Shinomiya's backstory about her mother. Um, I think I think well Hoshina we kind of did get some backstory with him like by the end of the last season, uh, but I'm guessing that we might get a little bit more to that. I really want to know more about uh, Ashiro's backstory, like I mean how she joined the defense force and how she became an elite member of her division.
Yeah, well, that's something I've kind of wanted to because we don't really know a lot about her. I mean, we just know that her and Kafka were childhood friends, and then uh, we know that now she's like one of the higher ups in the Kaiju Defense Force, but we don't really know how she got to that point. So I definitely would agree. I'd like to I actually see like how that happened and just a little bit more about about her in general too, because there's only like some brief scenes in season one where we kind of get a idea of how she's feeling about something, but for the most part, like she just comes off as very cold and distant, which makes sense. But I kind of would like a little bit more about like her like what why she's feeling the way she's feeling or like what's actually going on with her because we don't really get any kind of insight into that.
Yeah, and of course her relationship with Kafka because they were
Yeah.
like you said they're both childhood
Well,
friends and her right now compared to her childhood self is a far distant cry.
yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
like
I
some
guess you could assume that that's because she had to become that way because of her job, but I feel like there may be some more to it than that. Uh, but yeah, I mean, given that like that's Kafka's main motivation is to get close to her, I feel like we should be getting like a lot more about her character, um, considering like how important she is with especially with Kafka.
yeah, most definitely. I mean, and plus like I mean, there was only like a brief scene back in I think it was episode 1 where she holds like some amount of resentment towards Kafka for uh not being physically able to join the defense force initially.
Yeah.
But now that he is part of the defense force, but under different reasons now, it's gonna it's gonna be interesting to know like her thoughts and perspective, like of how this is like turning about.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing too is that like in season one, when she saw Kafka that he had joined the Kaiju Defense Force, like we don't really get any idea of how she's feeling about like, oh, this is the first time she's seeing him in like so many years, but she had just seems to have like no real reaction to it. Maybe like on the surface, that's she pretended to have no reaction to it, but she actually has a lot to say about it or something. Like it would have been interesting to see how she really felt about that. But
I mean, she did try to testify on Kafka's behalf when
yeah,
everybody found out that he is Kaiju number 8. But beyond that, like, there's nothing else in regards to Ashiro that we know, like, how she's really feeling towards Kafka in general.
yeah. Uh, but yeah, I thought it was an okay episode. I don't really have much else to say about it. I mean, like I said, I like that we got some development with some of the side characters as well as Reno. But yeah, I don't have much else to say about it though. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
Yeah, I am liking that we're getting more development with uh with a lot of the side characters. It's just like I said, I really do feel like that Kafka is unfortunately going to take more of a backseat this time around in comparison to season one. Um, obviously we're more than likely going to have to learn more about the other characters and what their storylines are before heading to the final battle against number 9, because I do feel like that's where they're going with this.
Yeah. But yeah, guys. So that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.